the greatest concerts I play are from defenders, because it's a very truth. And it's difficult because I look into eyes of people and I don't know what to say. And I usually say, why it's difficult for me to play to you, because all around the world I'm speaking about you and I'm relying on you on my concert. I say those brave people in Ukraine, they are standing against Russian aggression physically. And I'm telling about you, I tell about you all around the world. But now I am here near you. What can I tell you? Only a song.
Hello there, this is Benya Stewart with the Wild East, and today I have the great privilege of interviewing Anastasiia Voytyuk, also known as Bandura Girl. Anastasiia performs all over the US, Europe, and around Ukraine, lifting spirits and also helping fundraise for the military and other civilian efforts. Anastasiia, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today.
Yeah, thank you too for inviting. I'm very happy to be here.
Now I see this amazing instrument next to you. Can you tell us what this is and maybe show it to us a little bit?
Yeah, this is a very special type of bandura. It's a Ukrainian instrument, that I would also say it's a family of instruments, because there are different types of bandura. So the one I'm holding here, we call it in Ukrainian starosvitska bandura. In English, we translate it folk bandura. And this is actually the ancient instrument, reconstruction of ancient instrument, which Ukrainians played before First World War, starting probably from 16th century, many years. It's like very not heavy, has around 20 strings, so it's a folk bandura.
And this is your main instrument while you're performing and playing as Bandura Girl?
Actually, I bought it recently, not long time ago, Christmas last year. So it's like I have it only a couple of months and only started to learn how to play it. And my main instrument is big bandura, how to call it, chromatic one, modern.
Okay,
it's like it's big one. So usually in the videos you can see me with the big instrument, and I'm proficient in it. And this is my new friend. This will be something very interesting today.
So you usually live in Lviv, but you're coming through Kyiv today. We had the privilege to catch you at the train station and bring you over to the studio. So what's happening next for you? Where are you off to?
Yeah, so when people ask me where I live, yes, I'm based in Lviv. I usually joke that I live in suitcase last 3 years. I even wrote a song about this. I travel a lot to different countries, and last year I also started to visit Eastern Ukraine to play for defenders. So actually I'm moving west and east, and sometimes for a couple of days in Lviv, a couple of weeks.
But constantly traveling at this point.
Yeah, constantly.
And so what will you be doing in the East?
In the East, I joined Cultural Forces, Kulturny Desant, for the 5th time, I think. And I will be playing with them together for defenders. They have very good organized process, around 100 military artists. So I will be civilian artist playing with a military artist, who used to be civilian actually a couple of years ago, like recently, but joined armed forces. And usually they have a group of 5-6 people, like somebody's driving, and there could be artists, actors, theater actors, stand-up, people who do spoken word, people who recite poems. And they form these groups, and they form the program for 1.5 hour or 2 hours, where I have my place to play a couple of songs. Sometimes that happened that I was playing solo a couple of concerts, for example, in hospitals. But usually it's a program which has different parts, and it has very logic is like speech in the beginning, making contact. For example, in one group in Kharkiv, напрямок, direction, there is Artur Temchenko, who plays Hardy-Gardy, and then he was playing the historical song, and it was part of program. And then later other artists were playing modern tunes. So this is very interesting process. And in this process, my role is to come as civilian, say thank you, lift up spirit, give some energy, no, not cry, but bring some good things. So this is very interesting because when I was starting to play for Defenders, I didn't know what to play, but now I know what not to play. So several songs I would say it's better not like very sad songs. So I choose more things which bring relief, which will bring hope, which will bring some nice good atmosphere. Of course, other people, mostly those who have fight experience, who were on the front line, not as artists, so they write songs about their experience, and then I think they have a right to sing this because they feel equal. And as I'm civilian and don't have fight experience, I realized I cannot sing the songs I don't have experience I'm telling about. So I think what I know, and this works the best.
Okay. Would you play us something quickly?
Now, yeah.
Yeah, just give us a taste of what this sounds like. Yeah.
So I'm working on tune, which comes from it's ancient tune. This is not my song, and it's called Kyselik. This is Ukrainian liquid food.
Okay. Kysil.
Kysil. Yeah, you know. And the story is about that the man asks the woman to cook him a meal, and she was cooking so long that he dies. And this song comes from Ostap Versailles, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mykola Lysenko wrote in notes notated this, and so it's preserved. It's not lost. Okay, let's try. А як я, мій милий, заболів, киселичку захотів. Ой, рано, ранесенько, киселичку захотів. А як я, то молода, не лінива я була. Ой, я пішла по селу добувати киселю. Цить, милий, не вмирай, киселичку дожидай. Не вмирай, не вмирай, ти надежа моя. Дожидай, дожидай, радість дорога моя. Зачинила кисіля на 16 неділь. Ой, рано, ранесенько, на 16 неділь. Зачинила кисілю без одній діжі. Ой, рано, ранесенько, без одній діжі. Цить, милий, не вимирай, киселичку дожидай. Не вимирай, не вимирай, ти надежа моя. Дожидай, дожидай, радість дорога моя. А веже кисель кисне, з милого дух тисне, а веже кисель на печі, а мій милий без речі, а веже кисель клекотить, а мій милий, ой, забула, а веже кисель і скипів,
А мій милий отубів. Ой, рано, ранесенько, а мій милий отубів. А я казала зранку, бери, милий, дранку, тебе чорт напер, та й у добрий умер. Якби була знала, то видую злява.
Well, bravo.
О, це був дуже first try, thank you.
And just one more quick question about the bandura. Is this a common instrument in Ukraine?
It used to be common, and we really hope it become to be common again. So because of Soviet Union regime and Russian oppression during many centuries, in 20th century this instrument almost vanished. So in 30s, the bandura, these type bandura players, they were persecuted, sometimes killed or like oppressed, and there was even the story that they were gathered together, many of musicians and killed, but we do not have evidences of this, like documents. And one of the biggest and very great men, Hnat Hotkevich, was also shot by NKVD because he was called a German spy in 1938. And there was a moment when this tradition was almost lost. And now not so many people play this type of bandura, and I only start. But there are also important to say that till now this tradition was very male. And you mostly will meet people who are male who play this instrument, and there are only few female who starting to play folk bandura and kobza.
And is there some resistance against that?
So because it was so oppressed, people treat it with the very deep respect, and I also respect this. And before, mostly men were playing bandura because the society was more patriarchal. So women also didn't have a right to vote, a right to be more present in society. But I'm convinced that the female were playing this instrument because of the song. It's actually the ancient song from the female perspective. So you sing in the song, my husband is ill and he asks me to cook, and I am cooking. So this is the song from she. So I have some suggestion, like some thoughts that there, of course, were female playing this instrument before, but in home, but not publicly. And that's why when people are now reconstructing this tradition, they would say, okay, the man played it, so we should keep like this. And I am the direction of like, let's develop it. Super. Should be reconstructors, but also should be people who will develop instruments, so it will be living. Like, for example, in a Celtic tradition, you can play on Celtic harp as a folk tune, but you also can compose your tune, which will be in folk style. So this is my goal. I started to write songs for this instrument, and we will see how it goes.
Amazing. And you were recently doing a residency program, and you were working on songs for this instrument. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in Netherlands. The residency was good because they gave me place to live and play in studio. So I have had like 4 hours per day access to studio, which is super cool. Silent room, nobody else around, monitors, microphone, and you work. So I started to work on songs and practicing. And so it appears to be a long process. But I'm really thankful for this time because when we are in Ukraine, close to war, we all try to be active. And the thing about writing the song, making something good quality music takes time. And sometimes in Ukraine, me or maybe other artists don't allow themselves to use this time for music. And we try to do something, to go somewhere, to organize some concert, to do some presentation. And then in Netherlands, I really cut off. I was almost like isolated from many things. So I focused on music. And it's important because if we will not create, we will not be having a product to show the world that we are.
So you're caught between needing to create content that helps people understand the war in Ukraine and your experience, while also needing to spend your energy fundraising for the army and other such things.
Yes, actually, artists, they receive a lot of questions, like requests from the vendors, different. Some you know, somebody you do not know, asking to raise money. And I sometimes receive more requests than I can do. And I do not know what to answer. But I usually try, even if I cannot do the banka jar or some campaign or concert, I just donate myself. And I say, sorry, this time I just like, I need to finish this project, but it's very painful to write this.
And does your experience on the front line, I mean, you're interacting with more and more soldiers that way. Is this kind of increasing the number of requests then, now that you're getting to know more?
It's actually not, because I think people in Instagram, this is one level of life in Instagram, and people can find you there. And the requests from Instagram are from people I do not know, but people whom I met on the front line, I really have a big, larger bonds with them, and I have really big motivation to help them. So if I met somebody, for example, if I know that usually you bond more with people you spend more time. So I feel more bond now with some people from cultural forces, and when they write, hey, we were out of our salary and we need to pay for the renovation of bus because we need it, so I'm happy to help. And also I have a lot of friends in armed forces, and they are actually really careful about asking something. They almost never ask, so I ask them, what do you need? And they say, yeah, actually we need money. And so mostly I'm focused now on the people I know and who are my close people to help.
And so what's been your experience going abroad in fundraising for the Ukrainian causes?
I go abroad with different goals. So this could be a fundraiser, charitable tour, I call it. And I did it to UK last year and to United States, and have several concerts in Poland, sometimes in Germany. So these are countries I worked the most. And so there are different types of events. So there are events who I organize with partners. For example, I find somebody and say, let's do something, or somebody finds me and say, let's do a concert. And these are mostly Ukrainian diaspora who wants to be active, or local people who want to help. And this is very, I would say, I would not say the big professional concerts, but rather community concerts, which are very important. So people feel that they are helping and that they are building local communities. So they are stronger and they can help more. Yeah. If you have a good community, when people stay together, you can do bigger events and raise more money. So this is the goal. So this is first type of events. Second type of events, it's different conferences, festivals organized by local people, like by people in Great Britain, or like some in Boston or in New York. And then there I'm representing Ukraine. So I come and speak. This is Bandura, this is me. I represent Ukrainian culture, and there are different levels of understanding. Somebody like just have a big eyes and like, are you coming back to Ukraine? Yes, and people are shocked because they do not know about the war much. Sometimes I meet people who know a lot, they support, they know all the news, and we can talk very deep conversations. And these are those people who are convinced we are all in danger in the whole world. And these are the best partners, of course, because I do not need to explain them the situation, they know. So they're ready to act, to do concert, to do fundraising campaign, to send money. And there are also some events where I meet people who are totally disconnected from war. And they say, we do music for music. For us, it's important peace. War is far away. So they, for sure, they will like put a sad smile on your story about the explosions. But they rather emotionally don't want to come there because it's a darkness for them. For us, we experience war is not only darkness, but for many people it looks very difficult and strange and with a lot of fear. So I would say these people are main target audience of cultural diplomacy, because we need to convince them that they need to be active. They call it to be political, but we call it to resist. We call it to protect. We call it to save your people? And this is probably the most difficult questions. For example, when I meet some partner and I say, let's do a charitable concert. And they say, okay, good, charitable concert. For what you will get back gathering money? I say, to support armed forces. This is the most important. And they say, oh, we cannot be political. We cannot go to this topic and we cannot gather money. So we support you personally, but on the level of organization, we cannot do this because music is for music and for peace. And of course, heart breaks. I feel a lot of difficult emotions inside, but I cannot show them because I already have this experience of exploding because you just meet people who don't understand totally what's happening. Like your friends are dying and somebody says it's like political.
Right.
And I say it's not political anymore. It's about civil society. It's about preserving Ukraine, protecting Ukraine. My friends, my relatives are on the front line. I want to protect them. Is it politics? It's other dimension already. Ukraine is whole in war, and people imagine that there are Ukrainians and there is army separately, but we are not separately. We are all tied together. And then it's a long process. And if I would convince such a people to start donating for repairing of cars, for drones, for anti-drones, Rebbe, so this will be the win situation. This is actually the goal of cultural diplomacy. And it is the most difficult because it's very frustrating. That's why I come back. And the most, the greatest concerts I play are on Defenders because it's a very truth. And it's difficult and joyful two in one. Difficult because I look into eyes of people who sacrifice their time, health, and sometimes life. And I don't know what to say. Like, I do not know what are good words to say. Thank you. No, sometimes it sounds so stupid. So I say, I have my bandura myself. I can play for you. I can give what I have. And I usually say, to our defenders, I say, why it's difficult for me to play to you? Because all around the world, I'm speaking about you and I'm relying on you on my concert. I say, those brave people in Ukraine, they are standing against Russian aggression physically. And I'm telling about you, I tell about you all around the world. But now I am here near you. What can I tell you? Only a song.
And you don't want to bring back the bad news that there are so many people in the world who don't quite get it.
Actually, yes. There were quite several mistakes. Not mistakes, but like difficult things. For example, I said thank you from all civilians. And then I received the comment, don't say this because there are many male civilians who are not in armed forces. And imagine how it's painful to hear this. So you can say thank you from female and kids. And there were many lessons I learned and some mistakes I've done. So I basically thought, I am not a prophet. I'm just like, I just play Bandura. This is the best to do.
So let's talk a little bit about what you were doing before the full-scale invasion and how that moment changed your approach to music.
Before a full-scale invasion, like last years, I was doing part-time music. So I had a band, Troje Zilla, four people, 3 people and 4 people band. And we were working with a folk fusion, arranging folk songs. And also I lead the NGO, and before full-scale invasion, it was very active. So during COVID time, we started to do more and more projects. It was education in culture, inclusion in culture, and different cultures projects like Festival of Modern Bandura, Bandura Application, theatrical festivals, residencies for artists, like these artsy, nice, tiny things. And like, for example, 2020, we gave work to around 200 artists, different, like from one day to a couple of months, like musicians, dancers, visual artists, many, many different people. And it was growing. We have had a team which was like, we were like better and better. And when the full-scale war started, almost all our projects were closed. Even like for one project, we were turning money back because US embassy, they stopped their projects, I think 3 months after the full-scale war started. So they stopped their grant program. So we even gave the half of the grant back. And it was very painful and sad because it was grant for Ukrainian American folk music development cooperations. And then we did the shelter in library. We cooperate with library. This is kind of office, and we were there, so we did the shelter there. And after in Lviv appeared many shelters, we closed it, but it was not necessary to have it. And then after I realized, okay, I either can turn into work with refugees, like very social work. And because I have done since 20 years our organization existed, we worked quite a lot with people with disability. So I decided I've already done this part of work, and I felt more calling towards Bandura. So I decided, okay, I lean on Bandura, and I start to do cultural diplomacy because I know languages. I know I used to live also abroad a little bit, and I can communicate, I can perform. So this is very good for cultural diplomacy. And then started to play charitable tours and also cooperating with Ukrainian Institute. They sent me to several countries like South Africa, very unexpectedly. We were talking about kids which Russia stole, and working with African artists, and also Berlin, there were Ukrainian female voices, and these types of projects where Ukrainian Institute very cleverly pushes Ukrainian question into the cultural fields of Europe and other countries. And I think like a lot changed, a lot. So I have lost a lot. My band fall apart because one person was taken to armed forces and another left the country officially because of illness. And now I cooperate with Polish musicians who found me and suggested cooperation. But actually war killed my band, war killed a lot of projects we started, and probably some of them will be never resurrected. And this is very sad. And sometimes I say this on a concert, we have lost a lot. First of all, people. And then also many connections, like the world is shifting, and the life before war and now two totally different lives. But what I understand, what was not good, but a life changing perspective, I realized music is not important. Music is not the goal itself. When we have times of war, and actually all the time we have times of war. If not in Ukraine, there are wars in other parts of the world. So wars are always, unfortunately. Just now it happened with us. So music is to protect. Music is to do something. Music is a very huge, impactful instrument. And people are important. And music is to save people. And that's why it's political, I can call it. But in a good way, in the way of saving people.
So I am curious, Anastasiia, when you encounter civilians in the US or in Europe and you're trying to make charitable concerts and they're not comfortable with donating to the military, have you figured some other way to involve them, or do you just have to say, bye?
Yeah, there are two ways. One is like I try to explain what we are gathering money for, that we are not buying like some big gun or something, that we are buying like cars, drones. But if I see it doesn't work, the second way I suggest, okay, let's donate to buy Bandura for kids and repair Bandura in Ukraine. And I started this program last year, recently, after one TV channel gave a news about music school in Ukraine, which bought 8 instruments and spent some almost $10,000 for this. And it's actually almost nothing because instruments should cost
quite expensive.
And I wrote a post about this and it got viral, so up to 1,700 shares. And next morning I thought I need to use this energy for something good, because in post I write why Bandura is important for Ukraine, why it's important to buy Bandura in time of war, and etc. etc. And after that I said, hey people, if you supported my post so much, let's do the fundraiser. So I announced my fundraiser for 200,000 hryvnia, 200, yeah. 100,000. And I gathered them, and I gathered already, I think 3 times more. So I bought already around 15 Bandura. You need to count because some are in progress. And I repaired 3 instruments. And yeah, it works. And actually donating people from Ukraine because they understand war. But also abroad, when I say stories, on occupied territories, sometimes Bandura could be destroyed or thrown away from music schools. And people are shocked about this. And I say, kids are small and Bandura are big, but there are small versions like Bandura for kids, which you can buy for $600-700. And I cooperate with producers of Bandura, and there are at least 4 of them who produce Bandura for kids. So I bought already from each of them, and Bandura are in Lviv and also central Ukraine, and I hope also to have partnership in Kharkiv, in Kherson, in other cities to bring Bandura there. So it's a tiny but good project.
Yeah, well, good creativity.
Yeah.
Good use of the resources. All right, so we're going to go back. I want to talk a little bit more about your experience with the Frontlines. That's what you're about to do. For how long are you going?
2 weeks.
2 whole weeks. And what does that look like? How many times do you perform a day?
So it looks like in the evening or in the morning we receive information when we start. We can start like 8, 9, 7:30, 10, different times. So, and we know that we start. And I receive information that we probably might play 2 or 3 concerts, sometimes 1. We say not concert, we say zahid, so like the action, or like, I don't know how to call it. And we come either to place where the defenders live temporarily, or to some downstairs cellars, which are some places for gatherings for several troops, or outside in the forest. And then there could be from 3 till 20 people. And we play sometimes acoustically, sometimes with the microphones. And there are 5-6 people who do the program. Program would have a motivation speech in the beginning, like to make a contact with people. And then this could be some poem recited, or there could be a couple of popular songs. There could be some historical songs. There could be some small theatrical puppet performance, which is actually really cool, because they're telling therapeutic stories. And then I play usually in the middle or closer to the end of the program, 3, 4, 5 songs, 2, depends how much time we have. And my goal is to bring positive vibes, to joke a bit, to sometimes I encourage defenders to sing with me. You probably know the song Ой дай Боже, it works perfectly. Під дубиною, під дубиною, під зеленою. I usually play also my arrangement of Nicheka Misechna, What a Moonlit Night. And then it takes us approximately 1.5 to 2 hours to be there. Sometimes we eat if we got invited, but we're very careful with this. Like if there is no time, we pack and go. And it's quite intense. Sometimes we can come back like 9, 10, sometimes earlier, 6. Sometimes some concerts events got cancelled because it's war, and some things change. And what I like a lot, that the cultural forces, they really care about the safety. So they never would take us to the endangered part, and it's usually everything very good planned. And and I sign the contract. I switch off my phone. I don't film because it's security. And I feel safe with them. And I really, when I see how much they work, so they work almost without the 3 days, every day, already couple of years, playing every day for people who are in difficult emotional state. And after being with several groups, I have worked with 3 different groups already. It's a lot of work. And sometimes, when the first time I came, I thought, wow, they are emotionally closed. But they are not closed. They are just preserving energy, because they need a lot of energy to sing, to talk, to be around people. Sometimes they'd stay with people and have a longer conversation. Sometimes somebody needs bigger emotional support. And there are only 100 such military artists and around 1 million of defenders. So it's like of course we need more. And they are happy to welcome civilians. So because defenders, like people, are happy that somebody from civilian world came, that I am not afraid, that I am tiny woman which plays a big instrument, that this instrument is the heritage of Ukrainian symbol. And some people see it for the first time in their life. And I can give bandura, they can hold it, touch it. It's like everything new for them. We say people abroad don't know bandura, but people in Ukraine also do not know bandura, especially this folk bandura.
Yeah.
It's like, I would say 1% of Ukrainians only saw it, maybe if not less.
This original kind of older type.
So this is actually also education. Sometimes I tell more about some tune, sometimes I do some joke, but I'm telling very important information. So this is, I think, several things in one. So it's supporting, motivating to defend. It's a very difficult task. How I'm not defending, but I need somehow to bring energy and reason for those people to still stay there. Entertaining, giving relief. So I would say what artists on the front line doing, and there are many artists, but what cultural forces are doing, because they are within the armed forces, they are within all of these laws and rules of armed forces. This is very difficult work. So
but you see it effective.
It's effective, for sure. For sure it's effective. And I have, for example, we have had several emotional moments when somebody cries, when somebody sits and thinks, when you see that people have some moments of this after this routine, because war became routine for them. So they have moments of like, I say, can you remember about the good moment in your life, about your wife or sister or mother or like friends? And they go back to this memory. As for somebody, it's painful. Or I met the guy who knew the song from my village. The man around 50 years old. And he was filming me, and then he said, I know the song. I just like collapsed with crying, because my uncle is from village, and he was there and he was defending and he was killed. And sometimes we should be really careful with these emotional moments, because after that I got ill because I got too emotional. So that's why this like emotivna sterilnost, I do not know how to translate it. It's like you need to be stable, not allowing yourself to go too emotional, but like be on a good level.
Preserving
it's like
separation.
Professional artistic work, I would say, but in very dangerous conditions. Yeah. And besides all of that, we are all people. So we just come people to meet people. This is the most important. And so many emotions, many things hidden. And as I was mentioning, these are most important concerts. It's like I'm very thankful that I have that I was invited to do this, and that they keep inviting me. So.
And how many times did you go?
Last year I was 4 times, so this is 5th time, and then the first time we went together, the first Christmas.
So 6 total. This will be the 6th.
6, yeah.
Wow.
But the previous one was a little bit not planned. I planned to come to Christmas to play, but I landed in hospital in Zaporizhia.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this was I came, we did rehearsal at the evening with a very nice group from Kharkiv. There is very talented musician, Andriy Ramas. And we were practicing one carol, and everybody was excited to do this carol with Irish influences. And next day we go to Zaporizhia to play, and I feel like very sharp pain, very sharp. And I say, guys, we need to go to hospital. So they brought me to hospital. In 1 hour I was operated. Surgery, not operated, how you call it. It was acute appendicitis.
Okay.
So when I woke up, I was in clothes to perform, and I have had 2 bandura with me, my mobile phone and a charger. This is everything I have had with me. Everything else was in the Dnipro region. It was far away, not possible to bring it. So when I woke up, I was naked with the blanket, and the guys were sitting, like, who brought me. Andriy Ramas, Artur Temchenko, and another guy. And they were like, hey, hi. And the first question I asked them, they told me this, did you sing the song we repeated? We trained with you yesterday, and they start laughing.
Like you were dreaming about doing this, or?
I think it was very important for me. I was really upset. I couldn't play any concert. Everything for me was cancelled for at least a month.
Oh.
Yeah, and the second thing I said, this is everything because of this Bandura, because I bought it 2 days before that accident. And I said, people say you need to be very pure to play this instrument. And then I said, let's carol. And we caroled Nova Radist Stala.
What do you mean by caroled?
Caroling?
You sang a carol?
Oh, yeah. I usually use this word, but I do not know if it exists. Колядувати, caroling. And yeah, so we caroled somehow, and then they left, and then many people helped me because they needed to come back to another oblast region, to Dnipro, and they were not able to visit me every day. So just random people who saw my post in Facebook helped me with the food, with the money, with the everything, and I was super grateful to the world that this could happen like this. The whole Christmas I spent in Zaporizhia.
This is not far from the front line.
Yes, this is very, I think, some 40 kilometers. And there was some like post-relay shelling. So what was probably the most important experience that 3 ladies which were in my room, they were all from occupied territories, so they escaped. Somebody twice, and sometimes they were telling something, and I even recorded Baba Valia. She was telling like when Russians came to their house and what they did and etc. And I was just like laying on my bed and listening to this. And then very important thing, she said to another girl, "Hey Nadia, would you stay here when they come here, Russians?" And she said, "No, definitely not. I'm going west." And it was, and they were not crying. They were just, this was just a normal talk. Then I was so surprised that nobody comes to, like, coming to visit, but the daughter of this old lady, she was calling her, crying on her, and she was so nervous, and she never visited her. So one day I asked her, like, almost to the phone, "Hey, why don't you visit your mom?" And she says, "Because I'm in occupation, I cannot leave." And it was probably you can spend Christmas with a family, with friends. Lviv is safe relatively, because rocket fell 100 meters from my house in September. So Lviv is really relatively safe. But this experience of Christmas being in Zaporizhia gave me a lot of more understanding about war. And, we are pretty safe in Kyiv and in Lviv comparison to people who escaped and live in Zaporizhia and escaped from Enerhodar or other cities. And so this is fun and deep. I really will remember this very long.
Wow, it's an amazing story. Well, I would love if you played a song for us to finish out.
Yeah, let's do this.
What are you going to play for us?
Yeah, I have had a chance to record a song for the album of an Irish artist. And I thought I need to write a song which will be telling about war, but in a very, like, the topic was fairy tales. So I thought, what can I do? How can I speak loud? So I decided to write a song which is called White Bird. And it's about the female who lost her husband in the war. And very difficult topic. I was working several weeks on the song. And for me was the most difficult to finish the song because I know how to begin, but what to say at the end to this people who are losing somebody. I have read a lot of some of my friends and some people who I know on Facebook who lost somebody, and I was reading their posts, and something I took from my mother who lost her brother, and this white bird. So I say, like, fly, white bird. You need to live. You need to fly with all the pain you have, but you need to fly.
We're ready.
Лети, моя пташко, від горя утікай. Коли сповніш мені щастя, щастя, зараз під крилом печаль. Знаєш, моя пташко, покидай своє гніздо, коли в серці дві любові, зараз ти живеш за двох. Співаю темноті, розправляти крила важко, та знай, що небо – це твій дім. Моя пташко, в серці віє помах крил, вітер ніжно обіймає, набирайся, пташко, сил.
Mercy.
Happy to sing it here.
Anastasiia, thank you so much for being with us. Your cultural diplomacy, your activism, your singing, your playing. It's a real treat, an honor to be experiencing it in firsthand and right before you go to the East and share it with Ukrainian defenders. Thank you
Дякую.
so much for your words.
Thank you.
If you like what Anastasiia is doing, please follow her at Bandura Girl on Instagram. Any other ways that folks can follow your work? Is that the best?
Yeah, Bandura Girl.
Bandura Girl. And I think there'll be some music coming out soon from Bandura Girl on all streaming platforms. So thank you so much. This is the Wild East. Please like and subscribe. We'll keep coming out with interesting interviews to help you understand Ukraine and all the different things that are happening here. Have a great day.